Oh, good evening, everybody. Just a little bit of an update on the Jacobite figures, which I have been doing. I started these, I suppose, about a week ago, and the biggest problem really was just getting the tartans. At that time they had no set tartans, quite literally no set tartans for the particular clans, as far as I'm aware. The reference that I've got suggests that they were very much wearing combinations of different tartans, and it was only much later that you got your kind of Black Watch tartan and Royal Scots and all of these type of things. So the trick was, I heard once, or I was told by someone, if you can't be neat, be complicated. So for those of you who have seen my work, I'm not particularly neat. I will have to be complicated, and I just continued to put stripes on them. So, some of the figure closest to you now obviously is just wearing a beige leather top, but the other ones, I actually did as many combinations of stripes as I could, reds and particularly bold colours, but overall the army will predominantly be in greens and browns. But I was quite pleased with how they turned out. They the figure on the extreme right, I gave him a bit of a sort of polka dot effect, which passes for a tartan when you actually look at it very, very closely. Blue bonnets, and always have a bit of trouble with doing dicing on the socks, but I went with a slightly lighter skin tone because I used Agrax Earth Shade afterwards to actually bring the faces down a little bit, and they've not been too bad. The chap at the front, I've given a proper Scottish, as I imagine they would be, ginger beard, and overall we've been pretty good. I dry brushed the shields or targes, and for the first four, as I say, I was having some trouble getting back into a painting kind of mode because quite frankly I've got like 2 bags of figures, as well as the 1812 War of 1812 figures I've still got in my sort of storage pile. I've got about 200 of these to do. What you see at the back is just recently prepped line infantry, government troops or British troops. I'm going to do these, they're either going to be Royal Scots or Royal North British Fusiliers or Wolf's Regiment. I haven't made my mind up yet. I've just primed them to get some idea of the detail on them, and it's not bad at all. I thought I'd go with these first because the pointy-hatted grenadiers are going to have a lot more work on the hats. There's going to be a lot of embroidery on there, and again I'll go with try and make it complicated rather than making it particularly accurate. But I was quite happy with how these chaps turned out. As I say, that's the first of many. Just got some bases sent through. They arrived just after a couple of days from Devon, and at the same time I picked up this book, which some of you may already have, the Warrior series, with a famous painting on front, the Moria painting, which is traditionally said to be based on Jacobite prisoners. The artist was in London when the prisoners were brought down, and paid a visit to see them, and used some of their faces. But a more likely story is that David Moria, the Swiss artist that painted this painting, actually just used men from I think it was Barrels or the fourth foot, and simply used the soldiers there as models. It's a pretty good book in the usual detail of you know, these type of books, with one striking picture by the famous Angus MacBride. I've been looking out for any detail I can get. That guy at the front looks a little bit chubby, doesn't he? Okay, he's probably a leader of some sort, but yeah, a lot of red in there, but predominantly the slightly poorer chaps were in browns and green tartans, but you've got a lot of the leaders there in almost pinkish colours, and it's altogether quite a nice book. And you know, anything I can get at the moment. I'm waiting for an Osprey guide on the Jacobites, but anything I can get at the moment, I shall be grateful of it. It all adds stimulus to try and making them different. You know, it's different. It's one thing actually doing the red coats, but when you get into this tartan, it's a bit like when you're doing Confederate troops for the American Civil War. You've got to have a bit extra sort of concentration to make them different. Otherwise you can find yourself using the same paints for several figures and they're having a uniformity about them. But really the tartans, as far as I can see from all these paintings, the tartans should be incredibly random, and that's what I'm going to go for. But overall, it's not a bad book. I got this second hand. I usually buy these sort of books new, but it was $11.99 new, and I've ended up paying about £7, which is not a great deal of difference. But it's nice to get a bargain occasionally, and it's in real good shape. So quite happy about that. As I say, just 4 figures, and I've taken a heck of a long time in doing them, but I am reasonably pleased by how they've come out. You know, they've got a certain charm about them. This is the Newline miniatures. I also got some Lancer miniatures to bulk out the cavalry, dragoons and artillery, which Newline weren't doing at this time. But anyway, that's what I've got up to so far, and I'm making extremely slow progress, and I think this is going to be a long project given the time it takes to do these. But hope you're all doing well in these difficult times, and I shall keep you updated. Thank you, and I'm enjoying all the other videos that you're providing. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.